When I started out as a teenager, we were just all bees, and we did live removal only. We didn't have pest control on our trucks, and we didn't do pest control. And we used to light up a smoker, and we'd smoke the bees and dousel them down, and I'd cut the comb out, and we'd brush the bees in a hive box. To a farm where we had a small apiary up in Del Mar, and that was their happy home until the day they died. Henning Beck got along very well with your husband and you.
Yes,
and
he got along nicely with Lowell.
And he would provide lots of honey. I remember coming out here many times and having me deliver 5-gallon buckets of honey. And
Probably 1976.
wow, so you've known him for quite a few years then. How did you first meet him? Do you remember the day you first met him?
Oh, yes.
Would you mind telling me a little bit about that?
Well, Lowell, my husband, and I were doing something on the property down over this way, and this small truck drove up, and this great big man got out, and an attractive-looking young woman. We started talking. They were looking for a place to put beehives. Most we had, the highest number we had was 65.
65 hives.
And Henning had his two sons were helping him. His two daughters helped sometimes. I was probably amazed at that. He had other assistants. I didn't remember, especially remember you, but you were there.
I was there, yeah.
And well, there wasn't anything special to use the property for, so we had 5.5 acres.
Okay.
Which is what's still all this cleared stuff out here. And Lowell had planted little fruit trees. He had a regular orchard of apricots and even some pomegranates. And then there's a whole row of carob trees. And then various eucalyptus trees around on the property.
Having me deliver 5-gallon buckets of honey, and you guys would get about 100 gallons or 100 pounds of honey a year.
We'd give it to friends and relatives.
Right, but I remember it was always a treat when it was time to pull the honey from the hives, and when we were bottling it up, it was always a real joy to be able to hand it out to the people and friends and family who were close to the family. To be able to hand them fresh honeycomb wild from the hives.
Yeah.
And I remember your face would always light up every time I'd bring those buckets of honey in.
I like the honey with the honeycomb with it too.
Yeah.
Recently, about a year ago, that I found this whole swarm of bees in the bushes right by the back door. And I remembered that you'd been in a bee removal, looked up in the old phone book and found your number and called up and said I was trying to get in touch with Jeff Lutz. At first they didn't know who I was, and I hung up, and then they called me back. That
was Aubrey that took the call, and she said some lady by the name of Beatrice Beck called, and she said she was looking for you. Do you know who that is? And I said, yeah, I've known her for many years, and I called you back immediately.
Yes.
And then I came out to your property and took care of your bees, and then we sat and visited for about an hour. I remember I had a good visit with you, and it was nice going down memory lane and talking about some of the old times working as a teenager out here on the property.
And I said something about having a cat that I didn't know what to do with, and then solved the problem on the cat.